Hi boys and girls, this is your lesson 17 problem set. So make sure you have that out in front of you, get a pencil and get ready to listen and learn. Pause the video whenever you need to write down what you need to write down. And as we're doing this together, make sure that you're thinking and talking along with me. Even stop the video and repeat what I say. It's very important for you to do those things along the way. So let's go ahead and read the directions for letter A together. Find the actual sum either on paper or using mental math. And remember, mental math doesn't mean you're not doing any math work. Mental math means you're using a different strategy. Round each addend, which is the numbers we're adding, to the nearest 100 and find the estimated sums, which are the answers to the addition problems, okay? So those are all really important vocabulary words. Addend, sums. Addends are the numbers we're adding. Sums are the answers to an addition problem. So we are going to round each addend to the nearest 100 and find the estimated sums. So you need to first find the actual sum, either on paper or using mental math. So go ahead and do that for letter A. So you're going to add 451 plus 253. Pause the video and go ahead and do that. Hopefully you got the answer 704. So now we're going to do the next part, which is round each addend to the nearest 100. So 451, what 100 is that going to round to? When I think of my vertical number line, the 100 before that is 400. The one after is 500. 450 is the midpoint. 451 is just above that. So we go up to the next 100. So 451 rounds to 500. 253 rounds to 300. 500 plus 300 is 800. Go ahead and do the next one. 451 plus 249. Hopefully you got the answer 700. Now we're going to round our addends. 451, again, rounds to 500. 249, that is one less than the midpoint between 200 and 300. So that rounds down to 200. 500 plus 200 is 700. Go ahead and do the next one. 448 plus 249. Hopefully you got 697. 448 is below the midpoint of 450, so that rounds down to 400. And 249, like we saw in the previous problem, rounds down to 200. 400 plus 200 equals 600. Down here they tell us, circle the estimated sum that is closest to its real sum. And that is this one. They told me to circle, so I'm going to circle instead of put a box around it. We're going to do the same thing in boxes B and C. So what I want you to do is pause the video and then come on back so that we can continue together. Solve 356 plus 161, 356 plus 148, and 347 plus 149. Go ahead and pause the video and come on back. Welcome back. Hopefully you got these answers when you did your addition, 517, 504, and 496. Now we're going to round each addend to the nearest 100. 356 That is past the midpoint, so that's going to round to 400. 161 is also past the midpoint of 150, so we're going to round that up to 200. 400 plus 200 equals 600. I'm going to pause the video. You pause the video. Go ahead and round 356, 148, and find that estimated total, and do the same for the problem below, and come on back when you're finished. Welcome back. So here are our rounded answers. 400 plus 100 equals 500, and 300 plus 100 equals 400. They tell us to circle the estimated sum that is closest to its real sum. And again, it's the one that falls in the middle. Now let's move on to box C. I want you to solve 652 plus 158 and the other two problems on a separate piece of paper or your whiteboard. Write the answer in the answer line. And then I also want you to round each of those to the nearest 100 and write the estimated sums. Come on back when you're finished. Welcome back. Here are the answers you should have in box C. If you got anything wrong, please pause the video and make your corrections. They tell us at the bottom of box C, just like the other boxes, to circle the estimated sum that is the closest to its real sum. And that is the middle one again. Now, letter B says, look at the sums that gave the most precise estimates, which means the ones we circled, the ones that are closest to the actual sum. Explain below what they have in common. You might use a number line to support your explanation. When I look at the middle numbers, boys and girls, when I look how we rounded each of those numbers, I notice that in each of those numbers, one number rounded up and one number rounded down. One number rounded up, one number rounded down. One number rounded up, one rounded down and one rounded up. So they went opposite directions. Whereas when we look at some others, look at this first one. They both rounded up. These both rounded down. These both rounded down, and these both rounded up. So we get closer to the actual answer when we have the numbers rounding in opposite directions because they balance each other out. So now let's write that down here. One number always rounded up. And one rounded down. They balanced each other out. Think of a balanced scale, okay? One is lighter, one is heavier. They're going in opposite directions, so they balance each other out. Let's take a look at number 2. Number 2 says, Janet watched a movie that is 94 minutes long on Friday night. She watched a movie that is 151 minutes long on Saturday night. Decide how to round the minutes. Then estimate the total minutes Janet watched movies on Friday and Saturday. I want to get the most accurate rounding. So if I have 94 minutes and 151 minutes, I'm going to round these to the nearest 10 minutes. And I'm going to put my little about symbol. 94 minutes rounds to what? 90 minutes, because on our number line, if we're thinking about our visual vertical number line, 90, 100, 95 is in the middle, 94 is just below that. If we're doing 151 minutes, 150 is the midpoint. Actually, it would be 155, because if we're rounding to the nearest 10, let me draw the number line. So we have 150, 160, 155 comes in the middle. So 151 is just above there. So this rounds to 150 minutes. Now we can add our 150 minutes plus 90 minutes. And that's pretty easy mental math, right? 150 plus 90 is 240 minutes. Part B says, how much time did Janet actually spend watching movies? Well, that means we're finding the exact answer. So we're going to add 151 minutes plus 94 minutes. I'm going to bring down my unit right away so I don't forget. I'm going to do the standard algorithm. You can do a different way if you want to. I'm going to start in my ones and do 1 plus 4 equals 5. 5 plus 9 equals 14. Notice I regrouped my 1 over here. And 100 plus 100 equals 200. So she watched movies for 245 minutes. Letter C says, explain whether or not your estimated sum is close to the actual sum. Round in a different way and see which estimate is closer. Well, 94, even if we round to the nearest 100, we're still going to be rounding it to 90. 94 would still round to 90 minutes. If we round 151 to the nearest 100, that would be 200 minutes. And if we add those together, we get 290 minutes. Is that close to our actual answer? It really isn't. This is more accurate. So rounding says explain, so rounding to the nearest 10 is more accurate. It's only 5 minutes off the actual time. Boys and girls, this is a lot. This is a hard lesson. You have to be able to round numbers. You have to be able to add numbers, and you have to be able to see those patterns and understand those patterns. So if you're feeling a little confused or not really getting it yet, that's okay. Do your very best, and I can't wait to see your work.